Hi guys, and welcome to this Model Engineers workshop. Today in the workshop, it's nothing to be sniffed at, but we're making the snifting valves. Come on. Hi guys, I'm the chef. Today, as I just said, we're going to be making the snifting valves that go on the top of the two cylinders that we're making at the moment. I've got the materials on the bench, and I think I've got a bit of explaining to do about exactly what a snifting valve is. Come on, I'll talk you through it. Righto guys, so here we are on the bench. Two bits of brass. This is 14.5 round. This is 1/2 inch hex in the old money. So a good chunk of that, by the way. This will form, we'll make two parts out of this. One goes in the center hole of this valve chest, the other one goes in the center hole in that valve chest. Now they, of course, are tapped 8th BSP, which is that tap. So we'll be making a threaded bush with this, because the body then gets threaded with that die. As you can see, it says G18, which is the symbol for the notation, rather, for 1/8 inch BSP, British Standard Pipe. Once we get the bodies started and parted off to just over length, they'll thread into the threaded bush over there in the lathe. We'll then finish turning and boring and flat bottoming those bodies. We'll then make the caps out of this, which will then thread into the body, and we will do the finish drilling, the finishing off anyway of the caps. Well, it's threaded into this body, which is then threaded into the little threaded bush that's going to be held in the lathe at the time. Right, so what is a snifting valve? Well, I found on the internet a description. So what is the purpose of a snifting valve? Snifting valves are a simple one-way check valve that allow clean air to be sucked into the cylinder in the event of negative pressure arising. These were commonly mounted on the side of the locomotive smoke box, from where clean air could be drawn, thereby causing undesirable causing of the cylinders. Right, okay, so it's a check valve. Being a check valve, it works on a little ball bearing. As you can see, these are ball bearings. These are 3/16 stainless ball bearings. So each one of these, when it's finished, will have a little ball bearing sitting inside of it, which will allow air to be drawn in if necessary. Now, of course, there's no springs in these. The balls just sit on the body, in the body of the little valve. But of course, as soon as you open the regulator, the pressure in the cylinders and the valve chests here rises, and it then slams that little ball bearing up into the bottom of the cap that we're going to make. The cap, of course, has a hole all the way through, as does the body, so steam and air can go in whichever direction it wants to go. Right, okay, let's get this into the lathe and we'll start making these snifting valves. Right, see you over at the lathe in a couple of minutes, guys. Back in a tick. Righto, guys, here we go. Set up in the lathe, so we'll just turn the power on. I've just touched off with the tool. I'm just going to do a clean up cut across the front of there now. Lathe is set. Everything's clear. Got the feel of it. Yep, that's better. Right, so face off cut. Then we're going to go down to 8mm to a diameter of 9.65, and then we're going to part off at 25 long. I was going to thread this using the tailstock die holder. Unfortunately, the die I've got, here we are, this is the 8th BSP die. Can you see there? Yes, you can. It's 30mm diameter. I don't have a holder for a 30mm diameter, so with a bit of head scratching, I've come up with a different solution. So you'll see that in a little while. But let's get two of these bodies made first. So I'll do the first one in real time. Won't take long. And when I get that parted off, I'll bring it back when I've got the second one, and I'll show the solution for putting a thread on those bits we've just done. So turn down to 9.6, put a little thread relief in with the small parting tool, the narrow parting tool, and then part off at 25. All right, here goes. Now we're going to turn down 8mm. Just going to touch off on the hexagon, of course. There we go. Put on a cut, and there we go. According to my little chart in the dial, that should be 8mm. So that's all the hexagon gone. Let's have a quick measure. So it's going to be somewhere around about the 12mm mark. We were at 12.5, 12.7 on the across flats. Yeah, we're at 12.2. We've got to get to 9.65 so we can take off some reasonable cuts. Here goes again. .65 is the target. That's a little loose. That's better. We are at 10.75, so 1.1 mils to come off. So let's do, well, that'll get us pretty close. Let's see where we're at now. That should have taken about 0.8 off, which means we've got about 0.25 to come off somewhere. Yep, bang on. So that is 9.9. We've got to get to 9.65. So yeah, 0.25. So that's going to be about that much. Right. Let's do this and see how we get to. That was literally just taking some dust off. Another quick check. Oops, still a bit loose. Tighten that up a bit more. Yeah, that's better. Right, 9.555665. There we are. No. Actually, about 9.7. So I'm just going to take off another layer of dust. Here goes. And then I'm going to wind out just to square off that shoulder. Wind that tool out of the way. That should get us to 9.65. .5555665. Yes, bingo, we're on the knocker. Right, quick tool change. Just put a little bit of a chamfer on the end of there because, of course, we're going to start introducing this to the a threading die shortly. So let's just put a chamfer on. That will do for that. Now, put the narrow. Lovely. Then put the narrow parting tool in. and we'll need to part off at 25, which is 9 on 107. Wind this right back, wind that up as far as it will go. Right, so let's just make sure we're going to get a 0 onto there. Not that we need this for the thread relief, because we do that by sight. 25, did I say 9 on 107, almost 10 whole turns. Right, so let's just get this to make contact on that shoulder. I'm just looking at the reflections, and there we are, we have a contact. Wind clear, and here we go. Now, that will be enough for the thread relief. Let me just go back and just check the 0 again. Yep, there we go. Now, on this machine, to move that tool 25mm that way, hang on, I need to allow for the tool width as well. 10, 30 plus a half, 10 whole turns and 55 divisions. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what did I say now? Can't remember. 55. And 55. So that should give us this from this side of the tool, the tailstock end at side of the tool to there, 25mm. Just do a very quick num nut check. Yep, looks good to me. Right, bit of power feed. And away we go. Coming in with a catcher now. Any second now. There we go. Let the tool clean up the pip off the centre. Drop out the power feed. Wind clear. Wind out. Turn off the lathe. Right, let's see if I can zoom you guys out a little bit now. There we go. Right, so there's the blank. You can see we put the chamfer on the end for the thread. Thread relief is in, and this is the main part for the body. I'll make another one of these, and then I'll bring you back and show you the solution that I came out with for holding a 30mm die that I can't hold in the tailstock die holder. All right, back in a couple of minutes, guys. All right, guys, so 2 blanks turned. There's the number 2, as you can see. Now, so here's the solution. I haven't got a tailstock die holder big enough to hold a 30mm die. Hold the die in the chuck. Don't know why I came up with that, but I did. So I'll just get rid of these now. Don't need the parallels. And that little clamp that held them on there while I set it all up. Right, just going to drop the lathe into neutral. Turn the power off just to make sure that nothing tries to power up when I'm using it. That would be quite disastrous. And let's get this wound in, and so it's going to be pulling on the chuck with one hand and pushing the tailstock with the other, and we should start to get a thread fairly quickly. Right, there we go, we're lined up now. You can see, yes you can see. Right, let's do this. Oh yes, we're starting to cut. There we go. Getting a nice bite on that, as always, with tapping and threading. A little bit forward, a little bit back. Now I'm still pushing on the tailstock as much as it will be dragging itself along by now, just to keep the thread nice and clean and even. Wind that back. I could feel that starting to tighten up. And of course, I'm going to go all the way down this until I hit the shoulder. Oh, you've got to love turning non-ferrous metals. They squeak. There we go. We're almost there. And yep, that's it. We're there. Right. Let's wind that off now. Oh, sorry for the hands. And I'll take this one out and we'll have a look, see what kind of thread we've ended up with. So far, it looks pretty good. Right, let's have a look at that. Oh, it's a nice looking thread. Can you see that, guys? Where's my hand? There it is. Nice, crisp looking thread. Yes, indeed. Oh, that will do nicely. I'm just holding it up against a different coloured background, guys. Probably need the same. If I use my little catcher. There we are. You can see there's a nice thread on there. Right, I'll get the second one done and I'll bring you back. See you in a bit, guys. Righto, guys, here we go. Quick change of plan. Got the two bits. I was going to make the threaded bush and put this in the threaded bush and do all the drilling and all the seating for the ball bearing from the threaded bush, but I don't think that's going to be a very good idea. So change of plan. While I've got enough meat on this, we'll do all the drilling through and cut the seating for the ball bearing, which we do with a 7mm end mill, which I'll put in the chuck. So I'm going to center drill through 3.5. We're going to go down then after that with the end mill, 7mm end mill. Somewhere on there's my little blue dot. There it is. That's where we stop. And then we're going to put the thread in. Wow, the drawings call for a 5/16 by 32 ME. Now, it's a wonderful series of threads, is that? I don't have a 5/16 by 32, but what I do have, if I can get this to focus, here we go, is a set of 5/16 by 40. Now, as this is nothing vitally important, all we're going to do is screw a little cap in there that holds the ball in place and is pretty. It's not going to make a hoot what thread we use. I could even use M6, M7, M8, whatever. It's just enough to hold it still. That's all it is really. So what we're going to do, start the lathe up, face off, drill through with a, so center drill through, put the mill in, go down the right depth, and then we're going to thread then we're going to put a thread on the inside, and then we need to knock 3 mil off the end of this. This is 25 long. We actually only need 22. Right. So yeah, real time. Here goes, guys. Find the tool clear all the way. Whip that off so I don't stab myself with it. Right. Up comes the center drill. Wind that handle out of the way. Right. Here goes. Right. I've changed that to 3.5. Just take my time at it. And there we are, we're through. blue mark. There we go. Then take the end mill out of the chuck just so I don't stab myself with it. And we look for the, got 2 taps, so taper tap first. Somewhere on there there's also a blue line. There it is, I can see it now. Use the taper tap just to get the thread started. Just drop the lathe into neutral. No gearing. As always, just bring this up. There we are, bring this up. And push, turn with one hand and push with the other. And we are cutting already, that's good. This is quite a fine thread, of course, 40 TPI. So I'm keeping a pressure onto the tailstock. The last thing you need to do is drag the thread so that it actually rips it out of the part. There we are, that's to my blue line. Just reverse the process, push on the chuck, pull on the tailstock until that comes free. There we go. And drop this one out now. Okay. Okay, we've changed over to the plug tap now. Again, just enter this slowly so that we pick up on the thread that we just created. And just keep the pressure on the tailstock. And I can feel it, we're cutting. Keeping an eye on my little marker on the tap. Probably one more full turn. That looks about right. Again, reverse the process. There we go. When it pulls free, we're clear. Right, move that out of the way. Okay. Right, now I'll bring the tool back in and we take off 3mm. Here goes. Ah. Okay, brought the tool back in, lathe in gear, and yep, we're all clear, and here we go, take off 3mm. Go. We got rid of any grotty threads at the very beginning of that hole. Now we'll just enter the plug tap to go into there just to clean out any remaining burrs. There we go. Full depth. That's it. Nice and easy. Sorry for the hand. Right. Let's take that out of the chuck. So far that's 9 minutes, almost 10 for a simple little operation. Zoom you out a bit. You can see, there we go. You can see in there the lovely little thread. Doesn't go all the way down. You can see the seating in the bottom where the ball bearing will rest. We're going to make the caps for these first and leave those a bit chunky. Make them next. Well, I've got to make the second one of these first, of course. And then we'll make the threaded bush. That'll go in the chuck. And we'll bring the body to shape. And then we can put the cap into there and bring that to shape as well. Right, I'll get the second one of these done and I'll bring you back when I get round to doing the first of the caps. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Righto, guys, there we go. 2 parts, both the same. A little bit of deburring on that bottom hole. Nice clean threads in there. You can see where the ball is going to sit for the thread in the bottom, for the valve part in the bottom. Both exactly the same length. That's great. They're done. Right, now, we're going to make the 2 caps now. So as you can see, I've just turned this down to 14mm, which is where it's supposed to be, faced off the end. You didn't need to see that. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn about 6mm. We need 5.4 really. We're going to turn 6mm down to 7.9, which is the size you need to put a 5/16 by 40 thread on the outside of that. We are then going to put a chamfer on it, thread that bit. Oh, we're going to put a thread relief in the back, of course. We're going to thread that here in the lathe. This time around, the dive does actually fit my die holder. We're then going to just clean up that end, make sure it's the right length of 5.4 from the shoulder we create, and then from the end of that to parting off needs to be 9.4. So we end up with a little kind of cap at the top. All right, so yeah, this is all still free. Lathe is set. Let's do this. Let's just do a quick check. I don't think we're anywhere close, but we should be getting down to it. 7.9, 7.95 is target. We're at 9.5. Yep, so 9.5, we've got a 0.6 to go. So let's do this. I'll take 0.4 off and then we'll remeasure to be sure. Here goes. Just going to sneak up on it. No great rush. Don't want to go taking off too much. There we go. Let's have a look. We are now at 9.1. Yep, literally. So we need to take off 0.2. Gets us down at 7.9. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to go a little bit less than that. There we go. Right. Now, let's see how much we took off. Should be about 0.1. No, it didn't. We took off almost, we're at 9, so I need to take off another 1. 1 being 2.5 measures on that, so let's go to about, to about 2.5 divisions on the cross slide. Here goes. Take off some dust. This should now get us to about 7.9, 7.95. And indeed, you know what? I think I'm a millimetre out, aren't I? I've got 8.9. Oh, that's real smart, isn't it? No, 8.9. I'm a millimetre out, guys. Right, let's keep cutting. We've got to take a bit more off. Right, let's have another measure. This should be it this time. I said I'd include all the mistakes, didn't I? Well, that was a good one. I was a millimetre too big. Yep, there we go. Yes, that'll do it. 7.95. Just between 7.9 and 7.95. Right. So, change tools. Put a chamfer on the end. Just to make it easy to start the thread. That's all that needs. Thread relief comes right up. This is just all by eye. And we make contact. Hopefully you can see. I think you can. Yes, you can. You can see a reflection on that shoulder of the tool when that little gap between them disappears. So about there, you got contact. All right. Wind out. Start her up again. That will do for thread relief. And a Model Engineer Series thread of 40 TPI is not a very deep thread. It's quite a really fine thread, to be honest. Right, let's get this threaded up now. Sorry guys, you ain't going to be able to see much, are you? Right, drop that into neutral. Yep, there we go. Right, turn and push. Here we go. Right, let's just break the chips. I could feel that. There we go. Keep turning and pushing. And we'll go all the way till that die hits the shoulder. And there we go. You see, Chuck doesn't want to move. Right, let's wind that off. Push and pull this time. That's it. We're backing away. We have a lovely looking clean thread on there. That looks really nice. Right, let's just try one of these. Oh, look at that. Oh, and that tightens up lovely. Right, now we've got to get this threaded part now down to 5.4 mil. So let's have a look, see what we're at. We should be somewhere around about 6, I think. Quick look at the very nears tells me we are at 6 exactly. So we need to take off 0.6 to get to 5.4 to allow the correct ball lift in this valve so that it allows enough clearance for air to get through and past and all that kind of thing, and enough room to seal. So what do we need to take off? 0.6. So we're looking at 30 divisions on the compound. Here we go, guys. Right, so wind clear 30 divisions. Okay, let's take it off in little bits. Let's go 15 first. Right, here goes. Oops. Keep forgetting those gears, but it's a good safety thing anyway. At least the machine's not going to run away with my fingers if I'm just trying to thread. Right, here goes. Let's just check that again. Check, check, double check is what they say, isn't it? Measure twice, cut once. Right, let's have a look. So we should be at about 5.7. And yes, indeed we are. Let's just put on the last cut now. 30, get up to the number 30 on the dial. Get rid of that tool. Get it out of the way. There we go. Let's just final check. We should be on 5.4. And bring this into you guys now. As you can see, we're at 5.4. Yep, 5.4. Beautiful. Right, so we've cleaned up that thread at the end. We've got rid of that chamfer and probably the first thread. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Now we need to part this off. So, use my narrow parting tool. So, brass costs a lot of money. You don't want to go wasting it. Now, of course, we need 9.4. The blade, the parting tool itself is... Just looking in the camera, guys. Sorry, just so I get touch off. There it is. Just set the 0 on the dial. There we go. Yep. Wind that out now. We need to go 9.4 plus 1.5, 10.9. So let's go. What is 11? 11, 42 minus 5. 11, 4 turns and 37 divisions. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 35, 6, 7 divisions. Right, looks good to me. Let's part this off. Let me just do a nut. Let's just do a nut check. So that's got to be 4 mil. Okay, let's have a look. 4 mil. There's 4. There's 4. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just double checking things. Yeah, we look about right. Okay, good. Phew. Somehow it didn't quite look right, but it is. Okay, let's part this off. I've got a little piece of paper as a catcher, so here goes. Almost there. Here it goes. Here we go. And bingo. Get the tool, clean up the pit, drop the power feed, back it out, take it away. Alright guys, so that's that piece done. I've still got the second one to make, of course. Right, there we go. So you can see now, oops, there we go, body and the cap. Nice little thread in there. Still long enough with focus for me. Yep, there we go. Right, good. Now, I'll get the second one of these made. And I'll get the threaded bush made. So that's got the 5/16 by 40 thread in it. So, no, it's actually got the 8th BSP, sorry. So it's got the 8th thread, so we can put the body in, we'll shape the body, then we'll put the cap in, and what we need to do, all we need to do is drill through, yep, and put a good size countersink in there at 60 degrees, so using a center drill, so that forms a nice looking little cap, and you can put a drop of oil in there as well, and so that will suck in eventually, and then we need to round off all these corners to 4mm, so that becomes 4mm round. All right, so I'll get you back in a second. Well, not a second, in a few minutes, and I'll have the threaded bush in the lathe, and we'll get moving. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Righto, guys, there we go. So, one threaded bush, one body number 2, and 2 caps made. So now what we've got to do, right? Well, I've got that little 6mm button tool here in the tool holder on the lathe. We've got to turn this hexagon down to 10, leaving 3mm at the back for a spanner. 3mm, it sounds about right. I'm just checking that on the diagram. Yep, 3mm. It shows a slightly smaller radius than 3mm, but I don't have a smaller button than this or any tool with a 2mm radius on it, so this will do. So let's just have a quick look, see where 3mm is going to be about. I'll just do my little blue marks like I normally do. So 3 mil is going to be just that 1, 2, 3, 2, so about there. Right, that's not going to show up very well, I don't think. You know what I'll do? I will take this tool out. Let's put a parting tool on. This is always a good trick if you need to, guys. Again, just till we get touch off, which is there. Now 3 mil is 1 turn and 23. 1 turn and 23. So let me just set the dial to 23, and we come through 0, winding out this time instead of winding in. 1 and 23. Now, of course, what I've just done is I've just, where's the pencil? Here we go. Left between here and the left-hand side, is my left, your furthest away, 3 mil. So I'm going to just clear that out, make sure it's free, and all I'm going to do is just go in and touch, and just leave a mark. Here goes. That will do it. So you can just see these little, just there at the tip of my thumb, on every corner. You can see that little width of the parting tool. Now, of course, we work to the one nearest to the chuck. That's the closest one we need to worry about. So we can get the button tool back in, line this out, come clear, and we'll touch off, put on a feed, and we'll go until we see that little brushy line going around as the lathe works. Now I've got to get this down to 10. This is 12.7. So by the time 12.7 across flats. So once we get the flats gone, we've got what, 2.7 mil to go. Here goes. Those flats are almost gone. Yep, there we are. That's come loose in the chuck, guys. So let me just... Yep, that's come loose. Let me just get a spanner and we'll just tighten that up a bit more. Right, I'll get this down to 10 mil on both and I'll bring you back. See you in a bit, guys. Righto, guys, there we go. Body turned down to 10 mil now. I've just screwed the cap in. Just taking a facing cut just to get rid of the dimple. The little nipple on the end of there when we part it off. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put a small center drill in. We're going to drill all the way through the cap, 3.5. Then we're going to put this nice big chunky center drill in, because this has got the right angle on it, 60 degrees. And we're going to keep going until that gives us a hole of about 9 mil diameter, tapering down 60 degrees. All right, let's get this done. We're almost at the end of these snifting valves. Okay, here goes. Right, let's just have a quick measure. Just set the calipers to 9. And let's try and have a look, see. We could go a little bit deeper. All right, let's get this finished off. That should see it. Yeah, that'll do us nicely. All right, so right now what we've got to do, we've got to make this look pretty now. So let me just move the saddle out of the way, get the file out. So we're just going to round off these outer corners, and then we'll get some emery paper on it and some Scotch-Brite as well, make it all nice and clean and tidy. Here goes. Handle, of course, on the file. Right, I'll just find my emery paper and my Scotch-Brite. Never mind, we'll just go with the Scotch-Brite. I've got that. Here goes. Right, there we go. Let me spanner that loose, and there we go. We are almost there. Right, let me get the second one done. That's what we're looking at. All right, there we are. There you go. Let me get the second one done, and I'll meet you back at the bench. See you in a bit, guys. Righto, guys. So here we go. Both bodies and both caps are now done. So they're nice screw fit, nice and smooth, a little bit polished up, looking a bit fancy. Now that, of course, here you can see, if you imagine that's the right way up, it's got a ball, that little one of those little ball bearings that forms the one-way clack valve to stop the steam coming out. So the steam pressure is going to hold that in the upper position. Down in the body, you've got a hole where that ball bearing just drops to when it's not doing anything. Now, of course, at this moment in time, we have two seatings, one here and one in there. This one we need to improve. This one we need to destroy. So, of course, it needs to be improved so it gets a neat, decent shape in it to match the ball that we're going to put on the top of that. Where's that gone? There we are. And then, of course, we need to destroy this one so that air and any oil that we put down through here can actually suck it in. So what we're going to do is, I've just made up this little steel. Not going to focus, come on. Yeah, it's a little steel chisel basically, almost like a screwdriver. Quite a fine tip on it. All we're going to do is put this into the threaded bush from the lathe chuck. Put this in the vise so it's loose, doesn't need to be tight, we don't want to crush it. And then we're just going to use this little steel chisel and go down through here, center it up, whack it with a big hammer, turn it 90 degrees, whack it again. So there's going to be 4 little slots in the bottom of each of these bodies. And when we've done that, we're going to rest this on the anvil part of the vise, and then using this piece of rod, which has got a cup in the bottom of it, put that on the top. And again, one good hit. That's all this one takes. Just enough to deform that seating to match the shape of one of these little ball bearings. Right. So I'll get those done. And I'll bring you back. We're almost there, guys. This one's almost finished. See you in a bit. Righto, guys. There we go. Just use the little steel chisel and the little brass rod with a cup in it. 2 sifting valves now finished. This will go on the shelf for future use. And hopefully you'll agree, they look pretty smart. I like those, they're nice. Of course, they now can bolt onto the top of the cylinder blocks when we get that far. Yeah, we're getting there. 2 of those down. We've still got these 2 gland packing bits to make. Pistons, piston rods, finish the valve rods off. That's not a great deal of a job, but still there's a bit of work in there. And then we've got to shape the blocks to final shape. We've got to take a chunk off here and a chunk out there and round off the bottom corners. All right, guys, that'll bring this video to a close. Give me a tick. I'll be right back. Righto, guys, that's 2 more bits down. 2 more bits off we can tick off the list. So they're a bit more ornamental in their shape, I suppose. But they have a value to the locomotive, just in case as you're coasting down the track, just enjoying the sunshine, you draw a partial vacuum and that could do some serious damage somewhere with a hot, soft copper tubing that will be inevitably connected somewhere in the system. Right, guys, so 2 more down, a few more to go, and then we'll be able to get the cylinder bolted back onto the frames and see what we're starting to look like. All right, guys, so I'll bring this video to close, same as I always do. If you can find it in your heart and soul, give me a like, a subscribe. Likes count for just as much as subscribes do. Likes count for like-minded people like you and I out there in the world. The subscribes count for me because it gives me the great motivation to be back out here producing these videos for your enjoyment. I know I enjoy them. Hopefully you do too. All right, guys, this is the chef saying, see you later.